VPL Infotech, and I'm a research scholar at BIMTech, and I'm here to just take away few learnings from everyone. Thank you.
Welcome, madam. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Myself Garima Sirohi, and I am doing my PhD from Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi. Thank you.
Welcome,
Hello
madam.
everyone, this is Pooja Chaudhary and I'm from Chitkara University. I'm assistant professor there and I'm a research scholar at Punjab University. So I'll be requiring this technique to do my PhD further in my data analysis. So that's why I'm here. So thank you everyone.
Welcome, madam. Welcome. Yeah, Rajesh.
Good morning, everyone. This is Buddhadeep Gundane from TISS, Tata Institute of Social Science. I'm assistant professor there. I'm working as a clinical psychologist and teaching master students. Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking this session.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I am Shreya from Christ Dainterby University. I'm an assistant professor from the School of Commerce, Finance and Accountancy. Also, I'm pursuing my PhD, so this will really help me with my analysis part of it. So yeah, I look forward to learn a lot more.
Welcome, madam. Welcome. Yes. Anybody else who would like to?
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you again on this platform. Sir, I'm thankful to you for giving us an opportunity to learn more and more about research methodologies like panel data analysis and time data series analysis. Even though I may not use it immediately, but I'm sure that these kind of techniques will help me a lot in my PhD journey. And I also wish all the students of this platform who are going to learn a lot from you. I learned a lot about your past FDP on parametric and non-parametric. It was quite useful. And hopefully this workshop is also going to be immensely useful to every one of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And welcome once again. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, next.
Hello, this is Vimal Kumari. Good morning to one and all. I'm doing my PhD in Kanchi Muniva Government Institute for Postgraduate Research Studies from Puducherry.
Welcome, madam. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes, next.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Good morning to everyone. See, myself, Dr. Rajesh Handa. I am from Institute of Advanced Research, Gandhinagar, and I am very glad and thankful to organizers. See, because of you only, we are getting that much knowledge and information. So, thanks to organizers, and good morning to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome in the workshop. Sir, please, place the position of your camera correctly. Otherwise, switch it off. Rajesh, sir, am I audible? Okay, thank you. Yeah, anybody else who left? Deva, sir, you did it? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, just as the other speakers of this forum have mentioned, I'm an associate professor at the RICS School of Built Environment as part of Amity University, Mumbai. So, I teach courses all the way from BBA to PhD, and I hold a fellow from NITI, Mumbai. And time series is definitely a new topic for me because I've not worked on that, though I've worked on some other research techniques. So looking forward to learning a lot from you, sir. Thank you very much. And good morning once again, everybody.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah. Sukhmani
Thank you,
Kaur.
sir.
Welcome, sir. Sukhmani Kaur. Sukhmani Kaur, are you there? Okay. So I think. Yes, please.
Hello, good morning to all. My name is Sukhmani and I'm pursuing PhD from Chandigarh University. I'm a research scholar and in the fields of commerce. I'm looking forward to this FDP. For my analysis part, we're requiring the panel data and time series analysis. So thank you so much for conducting this FDP. Thank you.
Welcome, madam. Welcome. Okay, so I think let's start. We will take introduction in between also. There is no issue. But time is 10:08, so we should start. once again, I would like to welcome you all in the FTP, and I hope this will not be one-way communication. This will be a exchange of thoughts. I will learn from you, okay, and we will discuss a lot. So hopefully everybody will participate and will ask queries. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so I want to tell you one more thing. In between, if there is a connection problem, so don't get disturbed. Within a minute or two, I will be rejoining. So there will be no problem. Okay. Okay, hopefully my screen is visible to you. Hello.
Visible, sir, visible.
Yes,
Visible.
sir, it is visible.
Okay. So this will be, yeah, thank you. This will be a 5-day FDP. So I will be taking today and tomorrow and some sessions later on also. And Professor C.P. Gupta, sir, will be taking day after tomorrow. And Mr. Pratik Bedi also will take the sessions day after tomorrow and onwards. So this way we will move ahead. And just to start, I welcome you all formally in the FDP, and don't wait. Life goes faster than you think. Whatever we think, the life goes faster than that. So we have to, so the year 2020 will also be over during this FDP also. We will end 2020 and we will start 2021 in this FDP. So it's just beginning in the field of time series and panel data. This is the agenda. Yeah.
Can you please make it full screen?
Yeah, definitely. No issue. Okay. Is it visible?
Sir, it is yet showing the list of participants alongside. If it can be moved full screen, it will be better for us.
No. I have done it.
I think maybe it can be stretched.
Just a minute.
It's done, sir.
List of participants is there. But I think this will be visible. I hope so. What about other participants? Is it visible?
Yes, sir, clearly visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Sir, you can pin the screen. You can pin the screen. There's a pin there.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay.
Sir, one small request. Can we get the recording at the end of the session, if possible?
Madam, after completion of the FDP, you will get.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So, is it fine now? Or any problem?
Now it is full screen. It is fine, sir.
It is fine. It is full screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the agenda for today. In session 1, I will try to cover a review of OLS, assumptions of OLS. I will try to cover it. This is the basic prerequisite for time series. In session 2, properties of glue, violation of OLS assumptions. This will be in the continuation of session 1. These two sessions are prerequisite for the time series analysis. In session 3, we will try to cover concept of time series, traditional versus modern. So this way we will go today. Hopefully you must have received an email containing work files for today. Did you receive?
Yes, sir. We have received.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We have received.
So we will be working on some of them today in eViews. So to enter the world of econometrics, we need to understand it is an interesting but quite challenging world. If it does not challenge you, it does not change you. Until unless you will get any challenge, you will not get any change within yourself. So now we should understand what is econometrics. In econometrics, we are putting things in the right place. So there are three subjects like business statistics and mathematics. Second one is quantitative techniques, or we say OR, operation research, and econometrics. Can anybody tell me what is the relationship between all among all three? Yes, anybody?
They deal with data analysis, all through three.
Okay, they deal with the data analysis, all three. But how we combine them and what is econometrics, we will understand. So what is econometrics? So let's see. Econometrics deals with the application of statistical methods of economics. Okay. So whatever we study in economics, theoretically, whatever methods, models we study, we apply in econometrics. It provides unification of economic theory, mathematical tools, and statistical methodology. So in econometrics, we use economic theories, mathematical tools, and statistical methodology. So we combine all of them in econometrics: economics, mathematics, and statistical. So it is concerned with estimating economic relationship between variables or among variables, confirming theory with facts and hypothesis testing involving economic behavior. And point number third is forecasting the behavior of economic variables. If you have any doubt, you can ask in between also, or otherwise we can discuss later on. So what is the nature of econometrics? Again, it is a primarily empirical in nature, use the historical data and derive meaningful conclusion from them. So what we use historical data in econometrics and we derive meaningful conclusion for future. It is based on inductive logic. It is evident from the past data. It moves from specific to general. We want to generalize the principles for the further use. So next is use of econometrics. If we see what are the use of econometrics, first one is estimation, second forecasting, third one is hypothesis testing. So we use econometrics for all these purposes. We will see throughout the workshop all these three things how we use. So these are the steps involved in developing econometric model. First one is underlying theory. Any previous studies, we do LR, we do review of literature, we find out the underlying theory, any theory which we find useful for our study, we take it from the previous studies. What we do, formulation of estimatable theoretical model. We formulate the model which we can estimate. Okay, on the basis of this theory from the literature review, we formulate one model that can be estimatable. Then we collect data according to our model. Whatever data is required, we collect the data. Then we model estimation. We estimate the values on the basis of this data with the help of model. Then we see, is the model statistically adequate? Statistically adequate means the values of coefficients, values of regression of. We will see later on all these things how we should see model adequacy. So is the model statistically adequate? If yes, then interpret model and use for analysis, and then this will go to the theory and someone else will search from the LR and will use your model. If the model is not statistically adequate, then what we have to do, we have to reframe or reformulate the model, or we will see at which level this required reformulation. So is it required reformulation at the initial stage or on data collection stage or model estimation? So this will, be helpful diagram in your whole research in the case of econometrics. Then this is, model y is equal to alpha plus beta x plus error term. So this will be the model in regression. So model in regression, how we develop and what is the meaning of this model. So we will see. So regression analysis. So regression analysis is concerned with the study of dependence of one variable, that is known as dependent variable, on or other variables known as explanatory variables, with the view to estimating and or predicting the population mean or average value of the former in terms of known fixed repeated sample value of later. So what we understand, what we try to do in this regression model, we try to estimate or predict the value of dependent variable on the basis of explanatory variable or variables. So the values of explanatory variables are fixed, or we know them, and on these values, on these variables, on the basis of these variables, we try to estimate or predict the value of dependent variable. So I hope it's clear. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we should see sometimes it is good to know about history. What is the history of regression? Let us see. So knowing history of regression analysis, the term regression was introduced by Francis Galton, who found the tendency of child height to regress towards the average height in the population. So first time this was used by Francis Galton. Regression analysis is concerned with the study of dependence of one variable, the dependent variable, on one or more explanatory variable with the purpose of estimating or predicting the population, which we have studied. Now, come to the types of model. One is deterministic model and another one is stochastic model. Can anybody appreciate it? Can anybody, tell the difference, speak on the difference between deterministic and stochastic model? Anybody?
Sir, can we say in the stochastic model, the error term is included, and in the deterministic model, the error term is not there?
Yeah. So that is the difference visible from the formula. But what does it mean? What does it mean? When we say that error term has been included and in other model, error term has not been included, what does it mean?
Sir, further, can we say that in deterministic model that is based on the populations, and in the stochastic it is based on the sample?
Yeah, please.
Sir, stochastic model is based on random events, sir, and deterministic model is somewhat we know about the event, sir, something controlled event.
Controlled
sir.
event. Okay.
Yeah.
And these are random.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anybody else?
If I can add, in the random variables, the probability, the randoms will have probability distribution. That's another thing about stochastic model.
Okay. Anybody else who can add? Okay. No. So this will be, the agenda. We will understand what is the difference between deterministic versus stochastic model. Just a minute.
Some error term is there in the stochastic model.
Sorry, madam.
Error term is there. Noise is there.
Error term is there. Okay. So a model with the following functional relation is called deterministic model. Why we call it deterministic? Whatever the explanatory variable of y, okay, we have included in the model. What we believe, y is determined only with the help of x. No other variable determine the value of y. You got it? We have determined the value of y.
Okay.
The
So
value of,
So you mean to say there are fixed terms of variables in case of deterministic model, whereas in stochastic model there are many variables apart from X variable.
Yeah, we don't know. If we know, if we know, we must have included in the model. If we don't know, and still some variables are there which can explain why, so that value will go to in the error term. Okay, so that's why this is deterministic and this is stochastic. We will understand in detail. There is no problem. But for the time being, this is the explanation. So I hope you understand it.
Sir, can you give some examples if possible?
Okay. Madam, height depends on?
Height depends on age as well as nutrition level. As well as environmental factors.
Okay. So can we list all the factors which affect height?
Not necessarily, but generally we can say a few factors only, but there are invisible factors which also may affect height.
Okay.
So I would go for stochastic model for height.
Yes, some companies also explain that if you consume this product, your height will increase. In case of teenagers, am I right or wrong?
Yes, they come up with so many models.
That may be also that may be a factor, and your genetic factor also, and regional factors also, geographical factors also.
Yes, sir.
So many factors. So whatever we have covered, that will come here: X1, X2, X3, X4, X5. Whatever. How the variables which we can think and we can find out from the review of literature, but still some other factors are there which we do not know or we do not want to cover if we know. So that value will go to error term. So is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, okay. So there are many examples we can understand. So in this course, we shall concentrate on stochastic model. We will talk in terms of stochastic model because deterministic model is very simple and there is no issue in this model. But in this model, there are many issues. So we will discuss on stochastic model. So stochastic model is y is equal to alpha plus beta x plus error term. Solving such model will mean finding the values of estimators of parameters, the model alpha and beta. So in this model, we have to find the value of alpha and beta because the value of x is given. On the basis of value of x, alpha and beta, we will determine the value of y. And we will see the error term also. So next, let's spare some time for the basics before we proceed further. Back to basics. So regression versus causation. So regression deals with the dependence of variable. It does not tell you the cause. Okay, which variable will cause another variable? This regression will not tell. Regression will tell you the dependence. Okay, so which variable is dependent on which variable? This relationship will be established by the regression. This will not tell you the cause. So a statistical relationship, however strong and however suggestive, can never establish causal connection. Ideas of causation must come from outside statistics, ultimately from some theory or other. It means whatever will be the variable, as dependent, and whatever variable will be as independent variable, the regression equation will give you some results. So you cannot say x on y or y on x. You can calculate x on y, y on x. Anyway, you can calculate. But regression will not tell you that which variable is caused by. So from history, from outside, from literature, from other studies, you have to find out which variable is causing which variable. Like we discussed about height. So height is dependent on so many factors. If you regress age as dependent variable on height, Regression analysis will give you some results, but regression analysis will not tell you that this is inappropriate equation or inappropriate equation result. You have to determine from the history or from the literature. So I think you got it.
Sir, your voice is
Regression.
lagging. If you repeat once again.
My voice is lagging.
Yes, sir, it is
Yes.
breaking and lagging also.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Am I clear now?
yes, sir.
Am I audible? Am I audible? So I mean to say that regression analysis, I think somebody has unmuted. So voice is coming from. So regression analysis tells you the dependence and independence. Regression analysis will not tell you that this is dependent variable and this is independent variable. That you have to decide. Like age and height. Okay, you have to decide which depends on what. Age depends on height or height depends on age. You have to decide. You have to tell the regression equation. Regression equation will not tell you the cause. Okay. Am I clear?
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is regression versus correlation. So again, regression tells about dependence and independence, while correlation analysis provides the strength, degree, and nature of linear association between two variables. There are two variables. Are they correlated? Are they strongly correlated? Are they negatively correlated? Positively correlated? This will be, cleared by correlation. But correlation will not tell which one is dependent on another variable. But regression analysis will not tell you the correlation, but it will tell which variable explains the other variable. So dependence and independence. So we must understand the difference between regression, causation, regression, correlation. I hope we are clear, and we will discuss about regression. Am I clear?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Sir,
So,
I do have one question. Let's say that, sir, there are two variables, right? Let's say there is a one variable is X and Y. And if the correlation between these two variables are 0, still shall we go for regression analysis?
I'm not saying that you should go or you should not go for regression analysis. I'm not saying like that. If there is no correlation, then the values of regression will not be, I hope so, significant. But I'm telling you, regression analysis will not tell you the correlation. What kind of correlation is there? Okay.
Yeah, that I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was telling you the difference between regression and correlation. Okay. So let's start with the regression model. So, but first, the classical regression model. What is classical regression model? Classical regression or classical linear regression model tells us yi is equal to alpha plus beta x1 plus error term. So I is equal to means time 1, 2, 3, whatever up to n. So we can see the above equation is called simple linear regression model, also known as two variable linear regression model. Why two variable? One is x and one is y, another one is x. So two variables. Alpha is called intercept, beta is called slope parameter in the relation between variable y and x. And we are talking about linear relation. Error term is called error term or disturbance term or noise term. We know this with the name of error term, disturbance term, or noise term. So whatever name we can call it for this. And generally we get confused about the what is known as y. Y is known as dependent variable. Y is known as explained variable. Y is known as response variable. Y is known as predicted variable. Y is known as regression. Y is known as endogenous. X means independent variable, explanatory variable, control variable, predictor variable, regressor, or exogenous variable. So these are the names for X and these are the names of Y. So sometimes we use interchangeably these words and get confused. So please do not get confused. These are the alternative names of our dependent and independent variable. So let's see, every classical linear regression model is stochastic in nature due to the error term. There is a error term in the stochastic model. So every linear regression is known as this. Error term takes care of other things being constant. Okay, status variables. So this is proven, and other things being constant. Whatever we are taking as value of x1, x2, x3, this we know, keeping other things constant, they will not change. We assume like that, and the effect of those will go to the error term. So why are the models not error free? Like we have discussed, but we should again discuss. The models are not error free. We have to see.
Excuse me, sorry, do you mean to say that the error term has to be treated as a constant also?
No, constant is alpha.
No, that is constant, but in the
the error term will not be constant. We will see that what is constant in error term and what should be constant in error term, but directly we cannot say that error term is constant, but something is assumed to be constant in error term, that we will discuss in the assumptions. But whatever we have not modeled in our equation in the form of x, y, x, 1, x2, x3 will go to error term. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Why disturbance? Why error term? Why we include this error term in our equation? The disturbance error term is in a stochastic model is used to capture explicitly the size of error, message or shocks that cannot be explained by the explanatory variable. So whatever explanatory variables we have taken, x1, x2, x3, they are not able to explain the part, and the part which is not explained by x1, x2, x3, and xn, whatever we are taking, will be explained by the error term. Okay, so we will see in a regression equation also. Usually the following rationales are given for y error term. First one is omission of variables and specification error. If we have specified our model and we have computed some specification errors, and we have omitted some variables, like a height is based on age, gender, geographical areas, climate situations, and we have taken these, but there are so many other variables. So these variables we are not taking in our model. That will go to error term. Non-linearity in relation, measurement error, human interminacy, or stochastic nature of economic or financial process. So we will understand the process, econometric process also, how we generate data, we will see. Now, classical linear regression model, what are the assumptions? We must understand the assumptions. What are these assumptions? So these assumptions are regarding your error term. Satvir sir, and I would like to attract the attention of everyone. These assumptions are related to error term. So what are the basic assumptions which we are talking about, which is the agenda for session 1 also. First one is zero mean of disturbance. Error means error term should have zero mean. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Yes, please. These are the basics of econometrics. So try to understand all these.
Mean is not time variant? No, I don't know.
That zero mean means the values are half of the values are on the positive side and half of the values are
normally distributed.
Normally distributed with zero mean. Okay, yes, half of the values in left and half right. Normally distributed, zero mean. Please see, all these assumptions are related to maximum assumptions are related to your error term. Next one is homoscedasticity. Variance is constant. Satvir sir, whatever you were asking, error term is constant. Error term is not constant. Constant what is constant? Variance in error term is constant. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So this is not heteroscedastic. This is homoscedastic in nature. Means variance is constant of error term. Non-autocorrelation. So covariance of EIEJ is non-correlation, non-autocorrelation. So one error term is not correlated with the next error term. So there is no autocorrelation between or among error terms. Uncorrelatedness of regressor and disturbances. Sorry. So uncorrelatedness of regressor and disturbances. So means correlation. So covariance of x1 EJ is 0 if I is equal to, means in an equation the x1 is not correlated with the error term. So there should be no correlation between x1 and error term. Normality. This is normally distributed. Error term is normally distributed. So whatever we are discussing about error term, we are repeating. Then last one also. Zero mean, homoscedasticity. Yeah.
Sir, when we are saying uncorrelatedness of regressor and disturbance, does it mean if there is a correlation, that means it would have been better if we have two variables, maybe like here we are saying that x should not be any correlation with the error term. If there is a correlation, that means it is not error term, it is some another variable. Can we say?
Yeah, some other variable which we have ignored and we must have involved in our equation.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So we should repeat. Yes. Any other question?
Sir, a known autocorrelation. You mean to say that some residuals are there in which the covariance should be 0?
Sir, when I is not equal to j, if we go to matrix I and j, we can understand. So this means that the autocorrelation of one error term with another error term.
Okay, sir.
One in matrix. So that should not be autocorrelative. Autocorrelation we will study tomorrow in detail.
Okay, sir.
Today also, but in ARIMA we will understand it in detail, autocorrelation. So there should be no autocorrelation. Today also we will discuss in coming session. So zero mean, homoscedasticity, non-autocorrelation, uncorrelatedness of regressor and disturbances, normally distributed error term. Last one is non-stochastic regressor. So the value of x1 is known constant in the probability distribution of y. So x value is known. The values of x is known as constant in the probability distribution of y. So whatever the value of x, that is not stochastic, that is known to us, but on the basis of x, we will determine the value of y. So this is the basic assumptions of regression. So we see how they affect the model. Basic structure of assumptions. The model is complete, linear, and additive. So if we meet the assumptions of linear regression, what we will get? Our model will be complete, model will be linear, model will be additive. Additive means if we add another variable, this will add to our R square. What is R square? Adjusted R square, we will discuss in today's session itself. So variables are measured at an interval or ratio scale or without error. So whatever we have variables in our model, they are error free and they are measured either on interval or ratio scale. The regression error term is normally distributed, has an expected value of 0, mean 0. Errors are independent from each other. Homoscedasticity in the error term. Predictors are uncorrelated to error. In a system of interrelated equation, the errors are unrelated to each other. So now the challenge is, what is the challenge?
Sir, I have one question. Yeah, sir, sorry for interruption in between. Sir, actually, sir, which are the robust assumptions and on which assumptions that we can make the compromises, sir, whenever we prove the model? In sometimes
Yeah.
if we are not getting, yes, sir.
Sir, please wait for the second session.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Violation of assumptions. If assumptions are violated, how we check violations, and if violations are
Correct, sir. Correct. Okay, sir.
assumptions are violated, how to deal with them. We will
Okay,
discuss.
Okay, sir. Okay. Yeah.
So now the challenge is how to estimate the best way appropriate value of alpha and beta. So, but before that, we have to understand population regression function versus sample regression function. So somebody was discussing in the stochastic and deterministic model. This is population or this is sample. So we'll make it clear here. So let us see what makes the difference between the population regression function or sample regression function. Is the presence of error term in the regression model due to sample data? So y is equal to alpha plus beta x plus error term. Can we say that population regression function does not have any error term while sample regression function has an error term? Can we say?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I think ideally we should say.
Yes. So let's look at the following graph. This is population regression function. What is EPS we have available, and this is debt equity ratio. So this linear regression is telling us about expected values of EPS by debt equity ratio is equal to alpha plus beta debt equity ratio. So this is the population regression function. Whatever values we have put this diagram and graph, and we draw the line. So this is population regression function, conditional distribution of EPS. Conditional means whatever we have, we assume it as population. So population regression function or population regression line is a line that is derived from the following equation: alpha plus beta x. Okay, so this is the line from the population. Geometrically, a population regression line is simply the locus of conditional mean or expectations of dependent variable for the fixed values of the explanatory variables. It tells us how the average response of y varies with x. So this is the graphical presentation again of population regression function. So identical normally distributed errors are centered. You can see all the error terms are normally distributed, and these are on the regression line itself. Center of the error term is on the regression line.
Zero mean is also connected for each and every error term.
Yes. So this is equation in the previous question. Do you think that it is possible for us to determine population regression function in time series? What do you think?
Sir, I think it is not possible.
Is it possible?
Not possible, in my opinion.
I want to understand some more views on this. Please.
But it would be very difficult actually.
No, is it possible? Madam, when we say difficult means...
I think it is possible, sir.
Okay. Can you give me some example?
Depends upon the size of the population. If my population is all banks in India, then it is very much possible to include all the listed banks in India.
Okay. So this will be possible. But, bank will not be your variable, na?
If my study is on banking industry in India,
variable. What will be your variable? Bank name will not be variable.
So if I'm studying, say, banking sector stock price, how accounting information is impacting the stock price, accounting information is going to be my X and stock price will be my Y.
So is it possible to, collect all the stock prices of all the banks? Just a minute, sir. Just a minute. Are they on the same time frame?
No. So there are around 42 listed banks. I can collect information of 42 banks. Keeping time frame, I don't know. Time frame can be any. It can be for 20 years. It can be even for 50 years.
Yeah,
So
that's why. So you cannot include all the information in one equation.
No,
because,
not for time frame. No.
Yeah. So if your population is finite, okay, and what we can say, you can determine the population. This is means the population is finite, and you can collect all the responses from the population. Then it is possible. So it will depend on your study. Yeah. Next, somebody was telling something. Yes, please.
I mean to say that suppose if the madam wants to calculate the value of index of stock prices of all the banks together, then it may not be possible to fetch all the data in a timely fashion with the precision which we want to predict. So it is time consuming and very costly.
Time consuming is okay, sir. But if it will, as madam said, it will depend on the objective of the study. Am I right, madam?
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Yes, sir. That's what I meant. It depends upon what is it that, because your question is, do you think it is possible?
Yeah,
my answer is, it is possible. It depends on what exactly do you want to study.
Yes, yes. So it will depend on your objective. So sometimes it may be possible. Sometimes it may not be possible. Easy and difficult, that is another aspect. But sometimes it is possible. Sometimes it is not possible. Suppose you want to check the marks of one class. Okay, so you collect marks of one class over a period of 10 years. So you can collect easily. Okay, class means one section of one course. You can easily collect for 10 years. Okay, so or for at a point of time also for another study. So I hope it's clear. We should move ahead. Next is sample regression function. So what is sample regression function? True relation between y and x, and thereby the two variable values of parameters alpha and beta is given by the function. So y is equal to alpha plus beta I and error I. So whenever we try to draw some meaning from the sample population and we want to generalize it, then there is a problem. The section, the respondents, the values which we have left from the population, they can create some errors in our model. They can create some disturbances. That's why whenever we write papers or any study, what we write in this way that as per my data set, okay, this is the conclusion, and if data set changes or time period changes, the results may vary. So I hope you understand this. So above relation is estimated using population, but in real life we have to estimate using the sample data. Therefore, we have to estimate population regression function using the sample data, and it gives the following regression sample regression function or sample regression line. Y I is equal to alpha hat, beta hat, xi, and as error term hat. Hat means the estimated from the sample regression, sample data. Is it clear?
Yes,
coming
sir.
back to our challenge of estimating parameters. So I hope we have studied the method of estimation. Broadly, two methods are there, but we will discuss only on first method, that is OLS, ordinary least square method. Second one is maximum likelihood method, but we will deal with only OLS. So what OLS do? So minimize, the objective is the line that best fit in the data. So these dots are our data. These dots are data. So what is the objective? To best fit the line. Best fit line. What is the meaning of best fit line? Yes, please. What is the meaning of best fit line? Best fit line means the line which covers the maximum data points, and points above line and points below line are not far away from this line. Okay. So they are closer to the line.
So homoscedasticity is
yes, yes,
good enough.
yes. And to meet this objective, what we do, minimize the sum of difference between the actual and fitted values. These are the actual and this line is fitted. Or minimize the sum of square of difference between the actual and fitted values. So let's see. These are the objective functions. I will not go into the mathematics. We have studied the least square method in mathematics. And these are the parameters slope, beta, and beta 1. And this is intercept. This is slope. We have denoted intercept with B0 means alpha. This is alpha. And this is beta. So intercept and this is slope. This is the equation how we calculate in statistics least square. But in the age of softwares, we must understand the formulas, but we are able to calculate in a click. The parameters of classical regression model we have manually calculated. This is the formula for beta, and this is the formula for alpha. And we are putting the values of alpha and beta and x in the equation. We will get the value of y. So what to do? Sometimes again go to history. So the method of least square, method of ordinary least square is attributed to the German mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss. Under certain assumptions, it has some very attractive statistical properties, making it most attractive and powerful method of regression analysis. So you must remember under certain assumptions. So if assumptions of OLS are met out, then only we can apply OLS. Otherwise, we should not apply OLS. Directly, we should not go for OLS. We must meet the assumptions. We should analyze the assumptions. If we are meeting assumptions, then it is good enough. Yeah, so let's see alpha and beta ahead are the estimates estimated using sample. They have their own statistical properties and behavior. So can we guess how they behave statistically? So these are the statistical parameters. If alpha and beta head are estimators of alpha and beta, then these are the population parameters. These are the sample parameters. Then these estimators follow normal distribution. So these are the properties of alpha and beta head. Now properties of OLS parameter. This we will discuss. So Gauss-Markov theorem. This theorem says that given assumptions of the classical regression model, OLS estimators in the class of unbiased linear estimators have minimum variance, that is they are blue. What is the meaning of blue? So let's see the meaning of blue. These must be best, these must be linear, these must be unbiased, or these must be estimator from sample information. So if we meet out all these things, our parameters are best, means minimum variance, linear function of variables, these are unbiased, their expectations are equal to the population parameters, and they are the estimators from the sample information. So if the blue parameters are there, then we can say that our model is fit. Let's see what we can do. OLS estimators are best because they are linear, they are unbiased, they are efficient, they are consistent, and they are sufficient. So what are the statistical properties of our estimator estimated y in the model? So y is the statistical property, y is estimated y. We estimate y on the basis of alpha and beta estimates. So actual y may be different from the estimated y. We have to compare and we have to see the residual. What is the residual? The residual is the difference between actual and estimated y. So this is a statistical distribution of y. Y should be normally distributed. Y also follow normal distribution if its mean and variance will be given by. So this is mean, this is variance of y. If these conditions are met, then y will be a normal distribution. Now let's see the statistical properties of error term in regression. We have seen error term must be normally distributed. It means the mean should be 0, variance should be 1. So let's see. Now we have to understand the estimation procedure, properties of our estimates of regression model. Now it's time to apply whatever we have learned. We must apply. So we will open Excel files, mastering Excel regression. We will calculate in Excel first, then we will move to eViews. So there are three ways to establish parameters of regression. One way using chart and chart utility with lines, trend lines. Second one is using inverse function. Third one is using regression of data analysis. And all of them will give the same result. So chart utility of regression, make a scatter plot. So let's do hands-on. And yes, so open the file. Which file? Yes, RIL returns. RIL returns. Open the file. So is the file visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the file. So delete all these. Are you doing simultaneously?
So kindly increase the zoom of Excel if you do so.
Yeah, please. I will. Okay. So is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So kindly see the column C and column D. So this is BSc return and this is RIL return. Okay. Is it okay? Returns of share prices.
Yes, sir.
So which one will be dependent and which will be independent in this case?
RAL will be dependent and BSc returns can be independent.
So in the case of causation and regression, this is the main difference. So this will not tell me which is dependent and which is independent. So which one will cause the other variable? I have to decide. So RIL returns will be caused by BSc return. This is, I can understand from the theory or from the literature. So let's see what can we do with these. So these are the BSc returns and NSC return in sheet 1. Okay, go to the sheet 1. So what will I do? I will select all of them and I will go to insert and scatter. Okay, then I will draw a scatter. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I hope it's visible. Are you able to do? आप लोग कर पा रहे हैं? If you will exercise, then it will be, beneficial. Otherwise, no. Okay. So let's see. What to do next? We have to fit the line. How to fit the line? Let's. So right click, add trend line. Okay. So in this trend line, what will you see? You will see linear. So linear will be there. And if you want to display equation, then you can display equation. If you want to display R squared on chart, you can display R squared also. So this is okay. And I have fitted my line here. And this is the equation. And you can see y is equal to minus 0.02005 x plus 0.1605. This is alpha and this is beta. Okay, and this is R squared. Okay, so we'll
sir,
see.
Can you repeat how to get trend line, sir? Yeah.
Sir, right click here.
Okay.
and add trend line.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, and you will find the function if you want to add display equation or display. Sorry. Excuse me. So this is the method, first method, which method is, shows you the graphically. Is it clear? Is it clear? Now come to the
Yes,
second
sir.
function. Now come to the second function. Second function is, your function that is known as Linest function. Okay. And before that, I would like to calculate the regression. So what will you do? You go to this. You have data analysis in your system. Data analysis. In Excel, go to data. Did you find data analysis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just a minute. Give me 1 minute.
I hope this file is visible to you.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes, sir. Visible. Okay. So no worries. I have to change the system. So please see. So how to calculate regression? We will go to data analysis. In data, go to data and data analysis. The screen is visible to you. Okay. Then select regression function. Okay, this is regression function. Click OK. This is asking you input range Y. So Y will be my, RIL values.
So the dialog box is not visible of that regression equation.
Sorry?
So the
Dialog
dialog
box.
box that comes after the data analysis, that is not visible on the screen.
Okay. So just I'm changing the. Now it's visible. I'm doing again.
So now
Go
it's
to
visible.
go to data analysis.
Sir, I think there's some latency at your end.
Go to data analysis. Then we have to calculate regression. Then go to regression. Okay. So what will be my y variable in my case? This is RIL. Say returns. What will be the x? What will be x? X will be my independent variable BSc. So I have selected X, and confidence level is 95%, and where I want my output range, where I want my output. By default, it will give to the new workbook, but I have selected output range here. This is cell where I want this. So I will click on OK. I will get the result. Okay, so this is the result of regression. By default, Excel gives these two columns twice, so we do not need these two columns. Okay, so let's see what is the meaning of all these things. This is multiple R squared, adjusted R square, standard error, and observations. Observations was 248, and this is adjusted R square. It means my independent variable is able to explain my dependent variable by only 0.01474. If I convert it into the percentage term, it means 1.447% is explained by the independent variable. So dependent variable RIL returns are explained only by 1.47% by BSc Sensex. So this is standard error 2.944. So our objective is to minimize the standard error and maximize the adjusted R square. Maximize doesn't mean that it must be 100%, but whatever model will give the best maximum adjusted R square and least standard error, we will select that. So this is regression, this is residual, so sum of a square. So this much is explained by my independent variable, and this is residual error term. I don't know what are the terms. I am not included in my model, but they are what they are doing. They are explaining this much 2132, but only 40 is dependent. 40 is calculated by my independent variable. So Sensex is explaining only 40, but error terms are explaining 2132. So what we need to see the significant.
Sir, not audible.
Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Okay, am I audible?
So now it's audible.
Yeah, so sometimes there is error because of network. So,
Sir, excuse me, just a small request. So can you repeat the steps? Actually, I was not having the add-in for data analysis. Just now I have installed. Just please repeat.
add-in.
I was not having this add-in for the data analysis feature.
Madam, go to, I will just tell you, just a minute.
And now I have installed. Please repeat the steps for this analysis part. I am having the data analysis option now visible.
Okay, so are you visible with this graph also?
Yes, sir. How to get this? Can you please repeat the steps? It's a request.
This table or this graph?
Yeah, this one is there with me. Scatter plot is there.
Okay, so for table, go to data analysis, select regression, select values of. I'm just telling you, but before that, please understand this. Then I will tell you. So I just want to tell you the the values are similar by this way or that way.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is the regression equation given by scatter plot, and this is the value given by the calculation of regression. So they are same. This is the value of slope, so you can compare the same value, and this is the value of alpha constant, so you can compare the value of constant here. So these are the same. This is r squared and this is r squared. Okay, when we adjust r squared with the degrees of freedom, then we get the adjusted r square. So is this fine with you? Is this fine? Now how to go to this table? Then go to data analysis, select regression. Okay, select values of y, and which one is y? Your Reliance prices, Reliance returns, and what is x? X will be your Sensex return. So select those, select confidence level 95%, select output range, where you want your output, select that cell. Like I want output here, so I will get the output here. If I want output here, I will get output here, or you want in new worksheet, wherever you want, you can get it. So if I want here, I will click OK. Then the results will come here. Okay, I think it's fine. Should we move ahead?
Yes.
Okay. There is another function that is known as Linest function also. So Linest function is there. We can calculate the values of with the help of Linest function. So this is the Linest function. I will collect. I will say equal to, okay, Linest to.
So please increase the font size.
Yes, I'm doing. I hope it's visible now. Okay. So is equal to Linest. Okay. And you can see known x and first of all known y's and known x, then true. So I will known y, which is y, RIL prices. So I will select all of them. Okay. Then comma, known x. What are the x? These are the x. I have selected them. Okay. Then I will write comma 2. Now this is array function, so this will not work on array. And on the this will work on the select the area where you want result, and this will work with Shift Control plus Enter.
Sir, can you please come again on the array part? You were saying something.
This is array function. Array function, the formula array formula will not work like you enter, but you have to, yes. Control Shift plus enter.
I think your cursor is not visible.
My cursor is not visible. Okay, so no issue. By two methods you can do. I will tell you this function in the next class why it is not working. But we should cover the topic. Okay.
Yeah, sir. I also wish to add something.
Yeah, please.
Sir, as per theory, I thought, sir, BSc returns is the dependent variable and Reliance return is the independent variable. Because, sir, in BSc, the 50, yeah, sir, 50 companies.
Sir, that you have to decide.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Regression will not work.
Yeah, and so with the help of your, as you taught us, I moved the regression function, so I get better results in this one, sir.
Yeah, no. That's why I'm telling you that you have to decide.
Yes, sir. Correct, sir. Correct, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm moving.
So, but I was able to achieve Linest even without the array function. So just normal equal.
Only one value you are able to find out.
No, sir. I've got two values, sir.
No, but it will give you 10 values. It will give you 10 values.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It will give you 10 values.
If I do it like the array function. Okay.
Yeah. It will give you 10 values.
Okay,
so,
sir. Thank you.
No issue. I will just tell you. So I hope this PPT is visible. Once again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just pinning it. And we have to be on faster pace. We have to cover a lot. So this is first function, chart utility. This is the inbuilt function. We can calculate slope, intercept. These are the formulas, correlation coefficient, and R square. We can calculate with the help of this. And in Excel file, I have calculated all these functions. You can see the formulas. And this was the Linest function. So we can calculate Linest function. Control Shift Enter. This was not working. I have to see. But this will give you the 10 values. First value will be coefficient of X, then standard error of beta, R square, F value, sum of square regression, intercept, standard error of intercept, standard error of regression, degree of freedom of residuals, or sum square residuals. So this will give these 10 values, and we will discuss the formula. So this one was third. We have calculated, and challenge one is is it true that companies with high risk has lower P ratio? What kind of problem is this? It is a problem of testing hypothesis. This is not the problem of estimation. So we want to check whether companies with higher risk have lower P ratio or not. Challenge number 2, what should be the testable model? In this case, testable model will be P ratio is equal to alpha plus beta, and beta of company with the stock market, then error term. So challenge 2, how to estimate the value of beta of a company? We can calculate beta of company. This is the problem of it is a problem of estimation. Challenge number 3, what should be the testable model in this case? So our return of particular company is equal to alpha plus beta, return market returns. Then the person or the participant with the finance area can appreciate this formula. Then error term. Next is can we test whether there is any relationship between dividend payout and net cash flow from operating activities? What kind of this problem? This is the problem of estimation again, not hypothesis testing. What should be the testable model? Dividend payout ratio is equal to alpha plus beta, net cash flow from operating activities, and then error term. So now proceed further and see how to know that whether model we have designed is a good model or not. So these are some tests of a model: overall test and individual. So overall fit and individual fitness of model. So first one is the R square, coefficient of determinants. If R square is sufficient enough, whether variation in X is a good predictor of variation in Y. So we have to see the R square. Is the R square, so what I said, higher the value of R square, higher the variation explained, and hence it is a better fit. So never go for 100% R square. It will depend on your model. It will depend on the equation which you have framed. R square of 0.3 may be good enough as per your model, but it will be purely dependent on your model. So sometimes high R square is also a result of spurious regression. We will discuss that. So this is the R square. This must be higher. When we say higher, means it is a comparable between 2 or 3 or more models. We will compare. Then standard errors of regression. This will be lower, root mean square. This will be lower. How we will check this standard error? Minimum standard error will be the better for the best model. Next one is analysis of variances. ANOVA. We have test in ANOVA. It will depend. So this is the ANOVA table. So source of variation, regression, variation, degrees of freedom, mean square, F ratio. You can appreciate all these things from ANOVA table. This is ANOVA table. You can see this is the value which we have explained. This is the value which we have not explained. And this is the total value. Total observations were 100, regression 1, residual 98, total 99. 1 is degree of freedom. This is MS, mean square of standard, and this is F value. F value is simply the value which we have explained divided by the value ratio mean square of residual. So if you divide this value by this value, you will get F value, and F value will be compared with the table value, and we can identify with the significance. If this F value is significant, then our model is fit. Otherwise, model is not fit. If model is fit, we will see the values of coefficient and values of beta. Are they significant or not? Then we will check with the help of p-value. In the case of intercept, this is not significant. In the case of beta, means slope, this is significant value. So this is the interpretation of ANOVA table. Evaluation of goodness of fit on individual basis. You have to see, I just told you, on individual basis, intercept and beta values. If they are significant, then this model is fit. Otherwise, particular variable, particular independent variable or intercept is not significant, then you have to think about that. So these are the model fit values. What next? So it's testing time. You calculate any any regression we have calculated in our Excel file. See all these values and identify whether model is fit or not. You can ask any query if you have. So estimation. So estimating determinants. Why we use this OLS? Why we use estimation for the purpose of estimating determinants of bonds credit rating of a company. In finance, I am telling you, we estimate OLS, estimating factors that determine capital structure of a company, estimating relationship between share price as dependent variable and EPS, DPS, dividend payout ratio, size, variability in earnings and growth in sales as independent variable, estimating relationship between spot rate and forward rate of a currency, Why we use in case of hypothesis testing, testing whether CAPM works in India or not, testing whether Indian stock market are weakly efficient, testing whether earnings or dividend announcement has no impact of companies' share returns, testing whether spot market or future market react more rapidly to news, testing whether a person can make abnormal returns using some technical trading strategies in the Indian market. Forecasting, what we do, forecasting the degree of correlation between the stock indices and of two countries, forecasting volatility in stock markets, forecasting interest rate in the market and associated volatility, forecasting share returns in the stock market, forecasting reversal in trends in share prices, forecasting forward rate based on spot rate. So that's all for time being. We will continue with the second session after 30 minutes. I hope I'm able to cover some points.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Very well, sir. Very well, sir.
Very well, sir.
I have some more points to add on this in this session, but please be on time in the next session so that we can cover maximum, because
Sure,
some content of this session is still left uncovered. But in the first session itself, I do not want to stretch. So please be on time in the next session. Have a break of half an hour. Then we will join again. Okay? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you.